Have you ever had this experience? You believed someone was a truly precious connection, but as you grew older, the relationship actually drained your energy and gnawed at your peace of mind. Throughout our lives, we form countless connections with people. While some relationships bring us happiness, others leave us feeling anxious and wounded in ways we can't quite explain. Particularly as we age and accumulate life experience, relationships become increasingly important while simultaneously demanding more careful choices. Not every friend has a positive influence on us. In fact, some relationships make our lives more depleted, causing psychological distress, damaging our self-worth, and leading to unnecessary energy loss. Today, I want to have an in-depth conversation about the types of friends we should boldly distance ourselves from as we age to protect our peace and live a happier life. Through this discussion, I sincerely hope you'll take an objective look at your relationships and gain wisdom for a more joyful and peaceful existence. So what types of friends might be wiser to distance ourselves from rather than keep close on our precious life journey? First, the perpetually negative friend. Do you have someone like this in your life? A friend who constantly pours out complaints whenever you meet, sighing about how everything in the world seems to work against them. At first, you listen and genuinely try to comfort them, but over time, you find yourself swept up in their negative energy, feeling completely drained. This negative energy is highly contagious. It erodes our self-esteem, crushes our hope for life, and steals our precious emotional energy. Just like one rotten apple among fresh fruit can quickly spoil the others, the influence of a negative friend is surprisingly powerful, enough to poison our thoughts and emotions. We all face difficulties and trials, big and small, throughout life. But positive people try to find lessons within those challenges and make efforts to gain the strength and courage to rise again, even in adversity. Negative people, on the other hand, blame all their misfortunes on external circumstances or others, making no effort to help themselves. If you spend too long beside such people, you'll unknowingly become colored by their negative perspective. Everything in the world will feel difficult and overwhelming, and you'll find yourself easily discouraged by small problems, trapped in a vicious cycle. If there's a friend who leaves you feeling uncomfortable after meetings with a heaviness in your heart and a sense that your energy has been stolen, it's time to seriously reconsider that relationship. Our precious time and energy are not infinite. We barely have enough time to maintain relationships that positively influence us and help us grow. Why should we waste it on people who exhaust and burden us? Remember this: positive relationships help us develop and grow, while negative ones eat away at us from the inside out, eventually leaving us depleted. As we age, protecting our inner peace and stability becomes the most important value of all. Second, the constantly competing friend. We live our lives forming relationships with countless people. Some relationships flow as naturally as water, bringing comfort, while others constantly make us tense and uncomfortable. Among these are relationships that perpetually stress us out and make us unconsciously compare ourselves to others. These are friends who endlessly compete with us and compare us to other people. Rather than genuinely celebrating when we succeed, these friends compare themselves to us subtly, triggering feelings of inadequacy or openly displaying jealousy. For example, they might say things like, "Is that all you've achieved?" Or, "I tried that and it wasn't impressive." Or, "I already did that level of success a while back." They downplay our achievements and subtly boast about being better. Mature, healthy relationships don't view each other as competition. They come from a place of genuine support and encouragement. True friends celebrate each other's successes sincerely and offer warm comfort and strength during difficult times. That's what real friendship is about. But competitive friends can't hide their jealousy and envy when we get ahead even slightly. When we struggle or fail, they seem almost pleased or dismissive. Such relationships chip away at our precious self-esteem and make it impossible to comfortably be ourselves. We constantly become aware of their judgment and evaluation unconsciously, fearing that our success might damage the relationship or push them away, like a cactus covered in spines. The closer you try to get, the more you both end up wounded. As we age, we should find stability and happiness in comfortable, mutually supportive relationships. Relationships characterized by constant comparison and competition only unnecessarily drain our precious energy and disrupt our inner peace. True friends genuinely celebrate with us when we succeed and offer warm comfort and encouragement when we fail. Walking life's beautiful journey with such friends will make our lives truly abundant. Third, the friend who uses or consumes you. There are probably one or two friends like this around you. Someone who only contacts you when they need something, seeking you, out solely to solve their own problems. These friends rarely appear during your difficult times, happy moments, or important occasions. It's not a balanced relationship like a mirror, reflecting what you give, but rather one where they only take what they need from you unilaterally. Unbalanced relationships where energy flows in only one direction eventually exhaust one party and bring deep feelings of loss. At first, you might feel proud that you can help with their difficulties and feel good about being needed. But as this pattern repeats, you can't shake the unpleasant feeling that you're simply being used. Like an emotional dumping ground, you find your precious energy depleted from listening to and solving all their complaints. These types of friends take your valuable time, emotions, and even financial resources completely for granted. They talk only about their difficulties, demanding help as if it were their right. If you even slightly refuse, they become hurt or even angry, pressuring the relationship. They don't respect your time and energy, showing a very strong selfish tendency to unload their burdens onto you one-sidedly. True friendship begins not with one-sided sacrifice, but with reciprocal relationships. When giving and receiving are balanced, relationships can be maintained in a healthy and solid way. As we age, we must use our precious energy wisely and intelligently. Don't waste energy unnecessarily on people who unilaterally use you. Instead, focus your precious energy on people who genuinely care for and value you. Fourth, the friend who blocks change and growth. We are beings who constantly seek to change and grow. We learn new knowledge, take on new experiences, and dream of becoming better versions of ourselves than we were yesterday. Yet some friends don't support our positive changes and growth instead. They try to trap us in our past selves. When we try something new, they respond with skepticism and negativity. Do you really think that'll work? Or, that's not who you are, or won't. You just embarrass yourself if you try something reckless and fail. These friends don't fully acknowledge our potential, trying to confine us to the framework of who we used to be, as if trying to keep us in a safe but enclosed fence. They attempt to clip the wings of our new challenges. At first, their words might sound like genuine concern for our safety, but repeated over time, their words become poison that breaks our courage and makes us hesitate before new challenges. Eventually, we might give up on the path or dreams we truly want because of their negative gaze. True friends don't fear our changes and growth. They genuinely encourage and support us to become better people. They sincerely cheer for our success, and even if we fail, they breathe courage and strength back into us so we can rise again. As we age, we must listen even more closely to our inner voice. Don't let yourself be swept away by others' judgments or negative advice, abandoning your dreams and growth. Friends who genuinely care for us won't fear our changes. They'll become positive companions who grow alongside us. Fifth, the friend who makes communication difficult and one-sided. Do you have a friend who, when you meet, endlessly talks about themselves and interrupts or changes the subject whenever you try to speak? Relationships with such friends feel less like conversations and more like one-sided presentations, because there's no emotional exchange, just their unending monologue. They don't really listen to your stories, only pouring out their own, leaving your heart feeling deeply empty and lonely. At first, you patiently listen and try to understand, but as this pattern repeats, you gradually become exhausted and feel extreme fatigue. You're forced into the role of listener only, while your own thoughts and feelings are never considered important. In such relationships, true communication and connection cannot occur. Communication must be bidirectional. Only when we genuinely listen to each other's stories, share emotions, and empathize in depth can relationships deepen and solidify. But one-sided friends focus only on their own words and interests. Your emotions and opinions simply don't matter to them. As we age, we should seek deep relationships where genuine communication can occur. Rather than superficial conversations, friends who can share profound empathy and understanding will bring us greater comfort and emotional well-being. True friendship means being with someone who listens to your story, understands your feelings, and respects you. Sixth, the friend with extreme mood swings. Do you have a friend who's like an emotional roller coaster? Someone whose mood swings are so extreme that they're unpredictable, constantly making you feel unstable. They treat you warmly based on their mood, then suddenly distance themselves for no reason, explode in anger over trivial matters, then act as if nothing happened, a type that continuously causes emotional exhaustion. Being around such a friend feels like walking on thin ice. You're always anxious and cautious. Not knowing when their emotions will explode, you must constantly stay tense, and eventually you feel your own emotions becoming unstable. You begin to feel like their emotional dumping ground, experiencing a sense of loss as if your sensitive feelings are never respected. True friends gift us psychological stability. They treat us with predictable and consistent attitudes, respect our feelings, and try to regulate emotions together in healthy ways. But friends with extreme mood swings only unnecessarily drain our precious energy and make relationships extremely exhausting. As we age, our peace of mind becomes a value of utmost importance. Relationships that exhaust and torment us with unpredictable emotions need to be boldly addressed. Only by focusing on relationships that bring us stability and comfort can we maintain a healthy and happy life. Seventh, the friend who forces a mask on you. As we navigate social life, we wear various masks to fit different roles and situations. Sometimes we hide our true selves. But in front of true friends, we should be able to remove these masks and comfortably reveal our authentic selves. Yet some friends won't accept our true selves as we are. They force us to wear specific masks. For example, you're usually bright and positive. Why are you so depressed and struggling? Or why would you do that? Just stick to what you've always done. They don't hesitate to make statements that damage our self-esteem and cause psychological distress. They may even force us to conform to their tastes and thoughts. In such relationships, we cannot comfortably exist as our true selves. We constantly try to meet that friend's expectations and adjust to their preferences, eventually experiencing the bitter reality of losing ourselves. True friends accept and love us unconditionally as we are. They understand and embrace not only our strengths but also our weaknesses and shortcomings, helping us comfortably express ourselves. As we age, we should love and respect ourselves even more. Boldly cut off relationships that force masks on us and suppress our authentic selves. Instead, be with people who acknowledge and encourage our true nature. Eighth, the friend who sows discord. Do you have friends who cause division among your friend group, fabricating stories to make people uncomfortable and instigate conflict? This type of friend is extremely dangerous, willing to hurt others without hesitation for their own benefit. Such friends destroy trust and become the culprits who tear apart communities and relationships. At first, it might seem like they're just passing along unfavorable stories about others for entertainment. But eventually, those arrows will inevitably turn toward you too. Never forget this: a friend who gossips about others in front of you will certainly gossip about you in front of others. Such relationships can damage your precious reputation and even jeopardize your relationships with other people beyond repair. Discord-sowing friends are the worst type and should have their relationships severed the moment they're discovered. To keep our surroundings peaceful and healthy, removing such toxic relationships without hesitation is an essential process for our own happiness. As we age, we should pursue increasingly wise and thoughtful human relationships. Only healthy relationships based on mutual respect and trust can bring us true peace and happiness. Ninth, the friend who constantly asks for favors. Do you have friends who start with small requests but gradually ask for bigger and more difficult favors constantly? At first, you might feel proud that you can help with their difficulties and feel good about being needed by someone. But repeated requests in such relationships gradually become burdensome and eventually transform into an obligation you feel forced to fulfill. These types of friends talk only about their difficulties, taking help completely for granted. If you even slightly refuse, they become upset or even angry, threatening the relationship. They act selfishly as if you have an obligation to do things for them. They show absolutely no respect for your time and energy, demonstrating a very strong selfish tendency to unload their burdens onto you unilaterally. We end up unnecessarily sacrificing our precious time and energy to fulfill their requests. Eventually, we become so exhausted that we want to avoid that relationship or even actively evade them. True friends don't place excessive burdens on each other. When they need help, they ask politely but respect the other person's situation and position. Even if refused, they genuinely understand and accept it. As we age, our time and energy become increasingly precious and limited. Rather than relationships that unilaterally demand and drain our resources, we should choose healthy relationships where we genuinely support and uplift each other. Friendships in our later years are like an oasis in the desert of our lives. They are the irreplaceably precious people who offer warm comfort and encouragement during difficult times and can walk with us on life's final journey. Therefore, we must cherish, protect, and nurture these healthy and positive relationships. By courageously addressing relationships with people we should distance ourselves from as we age, we can protect our precious time and energy, creating a happier and more peaceful life. Asking ourselves the fundamental question, is this relationship truly protecting my peace of mind? And objectively reflecting on our precious human relationships will be the most important first step toward our own happiness. I sincerely hope today's discussion helps you deeply reflect on your relationships and make wiser, more thoughtful choices. I wish for your life to always be peaceful and happy, and I'll continue to provide good content that understands your heart.